And that's why he's so good as Bruce Wayne in that movie. Because it's crazy. He's really weird. That bit when he's talking to Jack Napier, he's all like, you want to get nuts? Gets nuts and just gets shot. So I'm another bald asshole here on a Tuesday. And look, it's one of those weird videos that comes out of nowhere. But when I read the news, like, if I had been available to make a video as soon as I had read it, I would have done it. I kind of freaked out a little bit. So I thought, screw it, I'm just going to throw it out there. People want to watch it, awesome. If they don't have to. It's the power of your finger. You can click yes, you can click no, you can do whatever the hell you want. But look, I love Batman. I love him. Without him, kind of ties into my whole life. To me, he is everything. You know, I can take traits of Batman and see it in professional wrestling. I can take traits of Batman and see it in bodybuilding, fitness, all these things that I love. But it came out yesterday that apparently he is in talks to return to the DC universe, the DC franchise, whatever the hell you want to call it, as Batman. This is the greatest news ever, genuinely. Now, it's not 100% confirmed, but so many reports, so many articles had it, you'd have to imagine there's no smoke without fire, and I hope somebody now takes some gunpowder and explodes this into 1,000 pieces, because Michael Keaton as Batman absolutely kicked ass, which is kind of crazy when we talk about it now 30 years later, because when he was first cast in Tim Burton's movie, everyone was like, you can't, what does this sound like? You can't cast that guy. He's a comedy actor. He was in Beetlejuice, and then he was brilliant. Maybe the best Bruce Wayne we've ever seen. It's going to come in the Flash movie, if it does go down, which obviously is in the works at the moment. And you do have to say that the Batman character in the movies is now a little bit convoluted, because we have Robert Pattinson, who is obviously making a standalone Batman movie, but again, it's standalone. That doesn't tie into all the Justice League stuff. But then within that universe, Ben Affleck has already been established as Batman, and now Michael Keaton's going to come in as well. Nonsense, absolute nonsense. But of course, the Flash, well, a lot of Flash stories are about time travel. Like, I think he can run so fast, he can move time or whatever. So maybe at one point, he goes into a different reality or something, and he meets Batman. I don't care. If it means Michael Keaton is going to be Batman, I'm all good with it. The reports go on to say that DC are hoping that the Michael Keaton Batman can be the equivalent of Samuel L. Jackson's role in the Marvel movies, which is cool. Like, you know, Samuel L. Jackson was awesome at that. I mean, Nick Fury is one of the better characters, I always thought, in the Marvel movies. And I loved how he, you know, threaded them all together. And hopefully that's what we can do with Michael Keaton here as well. And I loved when I first saw the Tim Burton. Well, it's twofold actually. When I first saw Tim Burton's Batman, I was like, this is just perfect. This feels like, you know, Batman graphic novel just fell off the page and somehow crawled up and went up onto a big movie screen. And then because it was so successful, Tim Burton basically got even more creative control. And then he created that absolutely dark, gruesome environment in Batman Returns. Like, talk about taking a villain like the Penguin and not holding back at all. You could argue that's the most vicious penguin there is. I know that in the comics he goes a bit nuts as well.
It's Penguin! I am not a human being!
So good, so good. And if all of a sudden I'm going to see Batman in, The Flash, he may be in the Batgirl movie or the Batwoman movie. I mean, he'd be in everything. They're working on so many things now, again, to try and counter what Marvel is doing. So not only did I think this was something I needed to talk about and get people excited, and hopefully we can have a chat about it in the comments, but of course it then, always spills over into the same question: who is the best Batman? And nobody can agree on this. If we go back to sort of, the 60s with the Adam West Batman.
Salt and corrosion. The infamous old enemies of the crime fighter.
I will be honest with you, not my favorite portrayal of the Dark Knight. I respect it and I understand that it was super successful, but the reason I fell in love with it in the first place is because of the dark grittiness, the edgy nature to it. It had an attitude and it never really felt all peaches and cream. Like, if you read a Superman or a Captain America, there are some editions which are peaches and cream, and I always thought Batman went the other way to that. So when it was basically two guys running around in pants, because Robin was in that too, and just for an FYI, I hate Robin. He should just go away. It ruins what Batman is. I understand it. I just don't like it. It just wasn't my thing. And I know some people will find that genuinely insulting, and more power to you. I love the fact that you found something you enjoyed so much. I'm not going to go through, I know there's been more than this, but I'm not going to go through all of them. And then you get to Michael Keaton sort of, 25 years later or 30 years later, whatever it was.
It's Japanese.
How do you know?
Because I bought it in Japan.
And yeah, to me, his portrayal as Batman rocked. I love the suit in those movies too. I know he complained about the neck because it couldn't move. To me, it just looked great, and that's all I care about. I'm sure it was uncomfortable for him, but I don't know that, so I haven't got to worry about it. But yeah, it was almost him as Bruce Wayne that was perfect in those movies in many ways, because it really got this idea across, which is like, some people always tell me I'm wrong. This is how I see it. Batman is Bruce Wayne. That's his real character, and the gimmick or the masked person is Bruce Wayne. That's the person he's trying to get people to believe he is, but really after the death of parents, Batman is him. You know, so there's this really cool sort of juxtaposition. And that's why he's so good as Bruce Wayne in that movie. Because it's crazy. He's really weird. That bit when he's talking to Jack Napier, or like, you want to get nuts? Gets nuts and just gets shot. And obviously he knows what he's doing. But you're like, what are you doing, Mr. Wayne? You're on another level. And he absolutely kicked ass in that. Batman Returns is a little bit differently. It really should have been called Batman Villains Returns. Because his screen time in Batman Returns is greatly reduced. But he's still absolutely awesome with it. And then he was going to sign on for Batman Forever. But of course, Tim Burton, I can't remember the story now. I just think he fell out with Warner Brothers. So they gave it to Joel Schumacher, who actually passed away yesterday as well, which is a terrible, terrible shame.
That signal is not a beeper.
It was very garish. Batman Forever. Obviously, Val Kilmer comes in the role. Not my cup of tea. I preferred it much more when I was a child than now. You know, obviously, I own all those movies, and I can't really get through it. Jim Carrey just plays Jim Carrey, just happens to be wearing a Riddler costume. Tommy Lee Jones has no idea who Harvey Two-Face is, but it's not that kind of a film, right? So I understand it. So I pushed that to one side, and we all know about Batman and Robin. I mean, it was just a movie to make toys. It absolutely sucks. There is some thing to take away from Arnold Schwarzenegger being Mr. Freeze, just because it's so weird seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze, but it's a bad film. And George Clooney has even come out and apologized for that. The fact they gave him nipples, I mean, it just completely goes off. Imagine you're in that conversation. It's time to talk about the nipples. Can I quit? Can I just go home? Can I dunk my head in this water for a while just to kind of wash off this stain? So that sucked. But then you come back with the Christopher Nolan movies.
I won't kill you. But I don't have to save you.
And I know the big criticism to Christian Bale's Batman is the voice. Batman. I like it because I feel like it was a good way to distinguish once again between the two characters. When you get to The Dark Knight Rises, is a little bit over the top? I would say potentially so. We could have dialed it back a little bit, but I don't care. I thought that much as Christian Bale does for most of his roles, he just threw himself into that and he completely understood the character. The Dark Knight is one of the best movies ever. In fact, those three as a trilogy, I say this all the time, I sound like a moron. They transcend movies to me. What's my favorite movie of all time? Shawshank Redemption. Because the Batman films are above that. I love them that much. They mean that much to me. I know somebody should slap me. So I'd probably put him on par with Michael Keaton if I'm honest. Nobody tops Michael Keaton, but Christian Bale is right there. Didn't like Ben Affleck as Batman. I could only just see Ben Affleck. Which I know sounds dumb. I can't really explain it, but it never... But then again, he was fighting an uphill battle too. Because Batman vs Superman is just a joke of a movie. I can enjoy it on a silly level, but it's not good. And the Justice League was a mess too. So he wasn't really given the best material to become his own Batman. And then we'll see with Robert Pattinson. You know, we did the video a few weeks ago, which has done quite well actually, so thank you very much, about the fact that he, you know, said he wasn't going to work out. I'm well aware that this could be a troll. The point was to have just a conversation about Batman, which I'm doing right now. That went over loads of people's heads. I'm 99% sure he'll get in some decent shape for Batman, and if he doesn't, we can yell at him, as we've already done. But I'll wait and see, because he is a very, very good actor. I haven't seen him in that much, but I know he always gets rave reviews, and he seems to take things seriously. And that's all I need. I just need people to take things seriously. But it is going to be weird having 3 different Batmans in one universe. But hey, you can never have too much Batman. That's what I say. You can never have too much Batman. I love Batman so much, I've never dressed up as the Cape Crusader, because I will only do it when I have enough money, when I can buy one of those crazy like $5,000 costumes, so I actually feel like Batman when I put it on. I know I have a problem. Again, Batman isn't a superhero. Batman is a potential job opportunity. Michael Keaton coming back, hopefully, as Batman. And also, if you do that and it's successful, do you know what you can do then? You can do The Dark Knight Returns. And if you've read The Dark Knight Returns, you know it's an old, pissed off, comeback Batman who can't do what he used to do because his bones hurt. And he kind of goes off the rails. And you know who would play that well? Michael Keaton. Go watch the movie Founder about how McDonald's started. He goes from nice businessman to psychopath within 90 minutes. And that's exactly what you could do here. That's enough rambling. I'm so excited about this. We'll get back to normal tomorrow. I needed to talk about it. And I have a little bit of a platform. Thank you for indulging me. Now do please hit the like button, share button, subscribe button, and get in those comments. Let me know what you think. I know 100% something I just said about Batman ticked you off, because some people like Ben Affleck, which is cool. Some people really like Adam West. Some people hate Christian Bale. We can talk about it. I don't want any arguments going, oh, well, Christian Bale did that thing on the Terminator set. But he's all like, la da 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 da, and he went all psycho. That was weird. Doesn't tie into the Batman movies. What else have you do? I said subscribe. Hit the bell button. Ding, ding. Then you know when more videos are going up. I got a Patreon, patreon.com/Simon316. Twitter, Instagram, Simon316. All the information is in that description below. I'm now going to go lay down. I'm just so happy. And I'm wearing a He-Man t-shirt today. It's like the 80s are back. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah. See you soon.